Hello. Do you remember the 4 elements of good persuasion? The first is the evidence and the logic you use to present the evidence. Then second is your credibility, how you establish your credibility, how you make sure that people view you, they see you as a credible person. Number 3, are you aware of the psychological needs of your audience, at what level they are, of what level of their needs they are, what needs are present in their life at that moment of listening to you. And then number 4, the key listeners and their opinions. So let me start with evidence and logic. What does it mean when we talk about evidence and logic? That is the subject of your persuasion. Well, if you persuade people about something, well, then you better take it from somewhere. Not just from your own inventions, from your own mind, but from somewhere. Evidence, is something from external source, something that you say something and then you say, hey, you should believe this, or you should change because this, and that. So there are actually 4 ways how you can present your assertion, your claim, how you can really persuade people. Number 1 is that you present your assertion. That means that you say something, you claim something, you make a statement, and then you add evidence. Okay? For example, I believe that cholesterol is really bad for you. Then the evidence is statistics. Because statistically, or because morbidity, mortality, because look at that particular region, particular state. So you present your statement, your claim, your assertion, and what you add is the evidence. That's method number 1. But sometimes it may not be enough. Sometimes, and that's method number 2, you have to present your assertion, the evidence, and then the source from which you took that evidence. For example, sticking to this example that I used, I believe cholesterol is bad for you. Why do I know it? Because of statistics, because of annual reports, because of health statistics and reports for particular regions and countries. And then you would add the source. The source is World Health Organization, WHO. So, in that case, you actually extended your reasoning by adding the source. Not just the assertion and the evidence, but also you added the source. That's method number 2. Method number 3 is you make an assertion, a claim, you add an evidence, you add a source, but you also need to qualify the source, because at times what may happen is that you speak to an audience that it's not really knowledgeable about the source. What the source? What does it mean? What does WHO stand for? People may not know. Well, although I think that in this particular moment people do know what WHO is. But, for some topics, for some audiences, it's good to not only mention the evidence and the source, but you have to go as far as qualify the source. And so in this case, you would say, well, I believe that cholesterol is bad for your health because the statistics show it. And where did I take the statistics from? Well, the journal or the report of WHO, World Health Organization. And what is WHO? For those of you who do not know, well, let me tell you, it is the global authority on health. I'm sort of improvising now, but just to show you an example of how far you can go in your reasoning. Not only do you state your assertion, your evidence, your source, but you have to go as far as qualifying the source for some audiences. This may not apply to all audiences and to all topics. So that's method number 3. And lastly, method number 4 is you state an assertion, you make your claim, and then you share your first-hand experience. As surprising as this may sound, it is the most effective method of persuasion. Why? People love to listen to your story. People love stories. They love when you share your first-hand experience. They love to see transitions, transformations. They love to see how lives are changed, how opinions are changed. A lot of commercials are built around this line that I want to show people this was before and this was after. And that's attractive for you. That's, wow. Well, let me, pay attention to what you have to say, because it's about story. It's about a personal story. It's about a personal experience, first-hand experience. So method number 4, how to present your persuasive presentation, is that you make an assertion. Cholesterol is bad for your health. And then you share your first-hand experience. And you tell them, for example, this was me 10 years ago, and this is me now. Well, what has changed in my life? I will tell you. And so now you go on and describe the difficulties, the challenges that you have to face in your life early on, and then you continue, actually gradually make your way towards this climax and saying, hey, look at me now. Thanks to all these principles, these changes that I've implemented in my life, I'm what I am now. That is first-hand experience, and that experience, or that method number 4, applies everywhere. As long as you're willing and able and capable to incorporate your own personal first-hand experience into what you say, into what you persuade people about, you're there. You win. But needless to say, there may be topics that you just don't find in alignment with your first-hand experience. There may be topics that you talk about drug abuse, you talk about different the political issues, or you talk about economic issues, and you just simply do not have the luxury to incorporate your first-hand experience, and you certainly don't want to make up one. So what you do is that you have to rely on one of these 3 previous methods. Well, in consideration of your audience, of their needs, and of course of other factors. But if possible, and if the topic itself allows it, then you should aim for assertion and your first-hand experience. Why? I already told you why. People love listening to stories. People love to identify themselves with you through hearing your first-hand experience.